Reviewing Marjorie Spears Cornell on our Through the Eyes of Women Yates County project, and she was born November 20th, 1913. And I'm Barbara Alconero, a member of the Yates County branch of AAUW, and I have already interviewed Marge at the Baptist Church, and now I have come into her home in Penyan to talk about the specific things that she knows about the two places that she worked, the Basket Factory and Michael Stern's clothing factory in the early part of this century. I'm in the home of Marge Cornell, and she's going to tell me about life in the past, but we will start with Michael Stern's, where you worked for 44 years?
44 years, I never heard it. I went to work in 1931. Worked on the vest, and when I went there to work, there was just a vest and pants. They had not built on the coat factory yet, the one where they made the coats. And I worked there till I got married in 33. 34 I quit to have my oldest boy. I went back and worked for 9 years. Then I quit to have my second child. Then I was never going back. We had decided that with Floyd's job and that we had our house almost paid for, that we could, but Howard Griner was our shop chairman, and he knocked on my door and offered me back my old job. And my mother said if I wanted to take it, she would come up and take care of my youngest boy. She did until he went to school. And of course I stayed from then on until I retired, and I retired January the 1st, 1976.
So you got credit for 44 years?
44 years, yeah.
And now you're in charge of the reunions?
Now I am the president of the local 342 retirees. Pushed on me now. I didn't ask for that. Pushed on me.
How many people are there? You're going to have a dinner this week, right?
We don't have a dinner, we just have a meeting. We always have tea and coffee and cookies. We used to have cakes, but it got to be that the same people got us to bake the cake. Nobody offered to bake the cake. So we decided if everybody brought as many cookies as you can eat and a couple extra, so everybody brings cookies. And we furnish the coffee and the tea. And that money that we use for that, we pay $3 a year dues. And we meet every other month for 6 months.
And what did you do exactly?
I pulled bastings out of vests and turned them from the wrong side to the right side. Only the front part. They didn't have any backs on. And when they left me, then they went to the edge stitchers, and they were always stitched all the way around the front, you know, of the vest. And from there they went to a lady that basted the sides together and basted, well, the lining in the vest, so that when they put the back on, it was all basted in. From them it went to the backers, and they put the backs in, and from then it went when we had hand sewers, and they felled around the neck of the vest.
And they were all sitting in this factory that we see pictured there.
Yeah, they all.
None was sent out to homes to do piecework?
Before I went there to work, I always understood that they sent the pants out. And then when someone said coats, but I don't remember ever, when they built the coat factory out, I don't remember ever sending anybody out. I know once my mother worked at Family Wash Laundry, and she had talked that maybe she would take some of them home and sew. She never did. They would take them out. I don't know how they did it. It was long before my time that they took it out, sewed it in their homes, and brought them back.
Then when you went back to work the first time, did you have the same job?
I had the same job. That's why I went back.
Still doing this? And you liked that?
And I liked it. And everybody said I was good at it. So.
And then you went back the second time. Was that also the same job?
That was the same job.
The same job.
And then they discontinued vests. And so I was going to get a job working on the pant shop. And, well, they wanted me, well, first but they wanted to be the floor girl on, well, it would be the pant shop. But I had to learn every operation in the job in order to do it. And because I better explain. When the work was all finished, we had examiners. And the examiners, what was bad, would set it off to the side. That was my job, to take the repairs out into the shop and get them repaired and bring them back. So I had to know exactly where they were going. And I wish I had a ticket to show you. When the stuff came into Michael Stearns, it came in a big bunch. For instance, let's say we're going to do a pair of 25 pants. They came in a big bundle. We had trimmers, and they opened it all up and cut them up. And they all were together with a little white string. They cut them all apart. Then they put like the sizes together, and they would be rolled up. They all go back in the same bundle in the end. But they would sort it to sizes, and it would leave our shop and go all the way through. And I had a big card on it. Every operation took that card off, and that was what they handed in at night, and put their number on it. So when I got to work for repairs, I would know exactly where it went back.
Okay.
Had a lot of trouble sometimes. And always on this big card, it always told the color thread that you would use on these pants. So that everybody used the same thread all the way through.
What kind of machinery was there?
Oh, singers, I think.
Just regular
sewing machines.
Sewing machines.
Some were what they would call slow ones, and then some were speedy ones that went faster than others. Depend what kind of a job you had.
And a person, then they're electric, but it's not a big fancy machine. It just looks like
just
a
regular machine.
A regular sewing machine.
We always had mechanics that repaired them. So.
And then you were telling me about 2 different times that you had strikes.
Well, I don't know about one of them. The only one I ever knew was this one here. When and I can't read what it says on it. It says work. I don't know. I can't read what it says on these signs. But well, what we did once too, and I was
going to hold up the sign, and we'll try to take. I'll see if I can zoom way in.
Picture. I didn't realize I have a date.
1974.
1974.
Okay. Now let's see. I'm going to go in. Really.
You can take these pictures if you wanna.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to see if it shows something here.
It shows them on them.
In fact, it's going to do it, I think.
Will it do it?
Yeah.
And then the date on the back of this one says June the 3rd to June the 12th, 1974.
Now this is like a picket line, right?
Yes, that's what we were. And nobody was allowed to go in the factory.
Oh.
Not even us. Not even anybody. Didn't have any office help or nobody.
1974. Now the other strike, which wasn't really a strike, it was sort of a sit-down.
I don't remember
You'd
that
heard
one.
told about? You were telling me about it, though. It was that you had heard about it? Or?
We'd heard about it, but it never affected us. This is the only one that we ever, the only other thing that we did was that we walked against Japanese imports.
Okay, yeah, you mentioned that.
And we walked all around town with signs.
You don't have pictures of that?
I don't think, I must have taken these, but I don't remember. Somebody must have taken them, but you know, unless you know of everybody that worked there.
That was in the 40s then?
I don't know what it was, because it was good weather, because we walked all the way down Main Street and all the way around town, carrying those damn banners. Because we was bad at Japanese imports, because they came to our shop and we showed them all our operations and let them watch us. Then they took it back to Japan and did it cheaper than we could.
Oh, wow.
That's the reason why we were walking against them. And one other time, this I don't remember exactly, because of those imports, we lost a lot of time, and we all got paid for it. So I got paid, I think it was $100, because I gave the church $50 of it, because I remember that. I know one lady that made $500 on it, because if you had more than one person on a job, and you got laid off for that amount of time.
So it's compensation.
Compensation for it.
So you had a union.
Oh, yes.
I have to tell you about that. I mentioned that was mentioned there.
When we first went there, we were AFL. And then
in the 30s you had
it. In the 30s. And I was trying to think of that guy's name. McGuire. Tom McGuire was the one that came down from Rochester. We used to have meetings down in the bottom of the Masonic Temple, and we had meetings up over what is now Long's, when it was Newberry's then, and it was called the Cornell's Hall, and we had meetings up there for a long time. Then we went to Masonic Temple, and McGuire was what would he be, the agent for the thing out of Rochester. Biggest liar in 60 counties. They used to say, I'll sit in the front row, because they could say if you sit in the front row, you could tell whether anybody was lying or not. That isn't true. Then we changed to, we were affiliated from AFL to CIO. And I'm trying to think that guy's name. Chapman was the head of it in Rochester. But he's the guy that came down. He was a big, heavy-set fella. He always came down and talked, and he really knew what he was doing. And
he was more honest than
more honest. He told us truthfully what was going on. And he was the one that would dicker for our. When we got raises for 3 years in a row. For instance, like you will say, we get $1 an hour raise. We would get 35 cents for 2 years and 30 cents for the last year. And that would figure. They would figure that up on your. Well, all of it wasn't time work, it was piecework, and that would be figured in on your rate so that everybody got the raise. Not just a few people, everybody in the shop would get the same raise.
And when you were paid, you had to say how many pieces you had done. It wasn't, as you said, it wasn't
every night.
Hot clock.
You had a paper folder, or it was black. You had these little slots in, and everybody that did piecework put all these little pieces of paper that they took off. Then you added it up at the end of the night with a slip and handed it in.
So you were paid by how much you did?
How much you did. Of course, mine was time work, so I never had to hand in anything.
That's not in the beginning, right? In the beginning, you were doing vests.
That was the same thing. Piecework.